They didn't call it Fit Fellas at the time, but there was a core of these 8 guys that gradually grew over the years.
Barrie Chapman has been teaching the Friday morning class for 28 years.
I'm 95 in this week, yeah.
I'm 101. I'll be 102 next month or something.
The social part of our program is probably just as important as the fitness.
All right, welcome back everyone to another wonderful episode of Let's Move Canada. We are your hosts, Dana and Luigi from the Canadian Health and Fitness Institute. And on today's episode of Let's Move Canada, we will talk with Fit Fellas volunteer instructor Barrie Chapman about what inspired him to stay active and what being healthy means to him. Now, before we begin, let me start by saying that this podcast was brought to you by the Canadian Health and Fitness Institute, whose mission is to make Canada the fittest nation on earth by 2030. And of course, to this end, we've created this podcast to raise awareness about physical and mental health. And now, to introduce our wonderful guest, Barrie Chapman. Barrie has just quite the story, actually, pretty amazing, one of which he's actually been actively involved in fitness throughout his life. Now, currently, he's a key figure in Fit Fellas, a renowned fitness program for older men, which he joined after retirement. Now, despite facing many health challenges like knee replacement, Barrie remains dedicated to the program's success, emphasizing its importance for both physical health and social connections. Now, beyond fitness, Barrie's active life includes a career in telecommunications, community contributions, and personal projects like writing and researching his family history, something that Barrie and I both share in common. Now, his commitment to staying active and engaged underscores his belief in the transformative power of exercise for individuals of all ages. Barrie, welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks very much. Thanks. Fun to be here.
Yes, we're so happy that you're here. So our first question for you is, where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about that. And were you active as a child? And how did you get into health and fitness?
Vancouver guy, born and raised, and spent pretty much all my life here, other than a couple of years I spent in Prince George and 4 in Kamloops during my career. But other than that, I've been a local guy. And I guess I was like any little kid involved in just community baseball, community soccer, all that kind of thing. I got involved with the YMCA at a very early age and ended up in high school. I taught swimming for the YMCA. And I swam competitively for a couple of years. I think I played most sports, just not on purpose. It just happened. Each season you went into soccer or baseball, or it just was always involved, and it was always active and supported in that by my parents. I was an only child, so I think that they probably pushed me a little harder to stay involved with other kids and that sort of thing, so that I wouldn't be on my own a lot. And I grew with it, and I became involved in the board of directors of the Vancouver YMCA and served on the board for over 25 years. I got involved in running. I ran for 37 years until I finally had to realize that my knee was giving out on me and I had to have a knee replacement. But I don't know. I don't think I did it on purpose. I just have always had fun.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been active your whole life.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's always been a part, even though your career was not in the physical activity world, right?
Well, that's right. Yeah, I was an office guy primarily in marketing and corporate communications with the telephone company. But on the other hand, I was involved in the foundation of the forming of the corporate fitness program at the telephone company.
Oh, wow.
Which is now TELUS, and we moved our headquarters from downtown Vancouver out to Burnaby, and the building was in the middle of nowhere. It was basically in a residential area, but there was a huge park across the road from the building, and so we put in a fitness center when we built the building and got people involved in fitness and had programs at noon hour and that sort of thing for the employees. and it worked out really well. It became so popular, of course, the employees in all the other areas of the province wanted to have fitness centers and that sort of thing too. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing. I'm
yeah,
sure. That's such a good idea. Do you know if
yeah.
it's still, is it still there? It's still,
I believe it is still going. The company has grown so much now, and of course, it's now TELUS, and they're all over the world. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm not sure whether they still have their fitness centers and so on or not, but
Hmm.
it paid off at the time. We got a lot of employees involved, and it helped with absentee rates, that sort of thing. It
Wow.
turned out to be a good thing for the company and a good thing for a lot of the employees too. It got them involved in fitness, and hopefully they stayed with it.
Really cool. I mean, look at this. We're already talking about community, right? Doing something for oneself and extending that to other people and doing
Yeah.
that together. Oh, really
Yeah,
cool.
that's amazing. I hope more companies follow those,
Right.
follow that. I saw actually, I was at a big music store. There's a big music store here, the headquarters, and they have a fitness center in there for their employees. And I was like,
Wow.
that is so cool.
Yeah,
Oh, for
I think
sure.
it's something with the companies are employees seem to be working longer hours, and of course now a lot of people are working from home, so
Hmm.
you don't have the same camaraderie as you do when everybody's at the office and so on. But I don't know. I've been retired too long. I've been retired for 28 years, so you don't ask me what companies are doing these days because I really don't know, and I really don't care either. As long as they keep sending me my pension check every month,
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
good.
Exactly.
Now, in the meantime, you've gotten involved with Fit Fellas. Could you tell us a little bit more about Fit Fellas?
Oh man, this is yeah, this
Getting right
Probably a
into
long
it.
story, but ready for it. Yeah.
well, I'll try to be brief. The Fit Fellas started about 45 years ago. It was the late 70s, early 80s. And it started with a group of runners. And one of the guys that was part of that group, Frank Carews, decided that they needed more than just running. They needed some stretching, they needed some strength exercise, that sort of thing. And Frank came to Canada from Hungary after the Hungarian Revolution, and he worked for a short time at the University of British Columbia, which is
Mhm.
where I met him. And he then went on to work for the Vancouver YMCA, and of course I was involved with the Y, so I'd run into him again. And they promoted him to be the manager of the YMCA on the North Shore. And so he still had these guys that he ran with, and they got involved with the one of the local golf clubs, and they had fitness classes there that he would run. And then he was hired by the district of West Vancouver. And at that time, he started a program that he called the Fit Fellas. And it just has grown from there. And I got involved when I retired 28 years ago, like I say. And when I went over to the class, there were 35 guys, 35 men, and they went 2 days a week. They went on Mondays and Thursdays.
Mhm.
And so when I went over, he said, you're retiring, you're going to turn into a couch potato and just be a vegetable and watch TV and all that sort of stuff. You're going to stop running. You better come over to my fitness class. So I went over to the fitness class, and I knew two or three of the guys in the class. And afterwards he said, "What'd you think?" And I, well, it sounded pretty good to me. I wouldn't mind coming over. And he said, "Well, wait a minute. This is a program for the senior center." He said, "How old are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm 57. He said, "Well, you're not old enough to join the senior center." So I said, "Well, you're the one who invited me." So he dragged me into the office, introduced me to the office manager, and said, "This is Barrie Chapman. He's going to help me teach fitness classes."
Nice.
And I'm looking at Frank saying, "Well, you might have asked me first." But
Mhm. Mhm.
anyway, so as it turned out, we decided to go 3 days a week because Friday was available. And so he taught Monday and Wednesday, and I taught Friday. And the guys still ran. We'd do a 15-minute warm up, and then everybody would go out and go down to the seawall and go for a run. Well, when I got involved, I'm looking around, and half these guys weren't running anymore. And so they go out for a walk. Well, and thought, well, you can walk anytime. So I said, well, what would happen if I plugged in some dumbbells and did some more work on the mats and that sort of thing? he said that was fine. He said, it's your class, you can do whatever you want. So I started doing that. The class started growing from 35. We went up into the 80s. Then I did a survey of the guys. We started a Tuesday, Thursday class because there was some time in the gymnasium. And I recruited some more instructors, and finally, I guess it's 18 years or so ago now, Frank stepped away. He had had enough. And so I took it over and just tried to grow it and build it and everything since that time. It's just a part of my life. I get up every morning, I go to the gym with all the boys.
Wow.
And even last week, when I wasn't feeling well last week and reacting to that COVID shot, I still went over for coffee with the guys in the morning. I wasn't.
Oh, that's nice.
Love that.
I just had to be with the guys. That it's
Sense
just
of camaraderie.
Oh, that's such
Yeah,
a nice
it is.
community. Yeah, I was gonna ask.
170 of these guys. Yeah.
Oh my
And
God, 170.
they go, our average age
Wow.
is probably 80, well, no, 78. I'd say 78.
Okay.
But
Wow.
then you,
That is so cool.
It's
so we
quite the
have
number.
classes. We have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. We have a Tuesday, Thursday class. And then 8 years ago, I started a class we call the Senators. And they're the guys, they're all in their 90s, but they were dropping off because they couldn't keep up in the regular class. So I now have 3
Okay.
volunteer instructors that take them through classes, and it's the same time as the regular class. So we all go for coffee after, and the guys are just still part of the group. So the social part of it is still there for them. And that is
Wow.
really important. Social part.
Yeah.
Really important.
So you go to the gym every day? Is that right?
Every weekday. Yeah. I get up in
Every
the morning.
weekday.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
weekday.
But I follow my wife because she's up and out for a run at 6 o'clock in the morning. So
Oh my God, that's so
Wow.
I'm
cool.
up at 6:30 and off to the gym, ride the bike for a little while, and then I go to the fitness class after that.
Wow, that's
And-
inspiring.
Teach 1 day a week, and I participate in the class the other 4 days. So, but
All
we have fun.
full circle.
Yeah, we have fun. I just tell the guys if they get fit, that's their problem. They're going to have to deal with it. But we're there to have a good time.
So I was going to ask how staying active has impacted your life and the lives of, everyone in your class and the community.
Mhm.
And it sounds like it's not just physically, right? It's also mentally and socially and lots of ways.
Sure.
Very much so. Fitness and running has helped me through a rough spot in my life earlier. And I really miss running right now, but I realize I can't do that. So I make up for that by doing other things and keeping active that way. My wife and I walk a lot, and we just live a block from the seawall in West Vancouver, so there's no excuse not to go. And rain or shine or whatever, if we're not playing golf, we're out there on the seawall every afternoon. So it is just a part of our lives, I guess. And the guys in the class tell me on fairly regular basis how much the class means to them and how they believe that it's keeping them alive.
Wow.
And personally, I turned 85 in January, and if somebody told me years ago that I'd be teaching fitness classes when I was 85, I would have said they were crazy. But here I am, and I don't know how much longer I can keep going. But
Long time.
it's fun. It's fun. It's got to be fun. Fitness has to be fun.
Absolutely. No, I agree with. Now, have you always been surrounded by a big group of people? I mean, it does seem that through working out and doing activities together, right? Regardless if it's working out or not, it seems like you can grow a pretty big community. Was that always the case, or do you find that when you started doing Fit Fellas, like you really started growing in your community?
Yeah, I think that I did. I certainly met a lot of people, and the work I was in with the telephone company, I met a lot of people in all walks of life, and I met a lot of employees again because of the areas that I was in with the company. But yeah, Fit Fellas is very much a part of the community. In fact, we've just been nominated for a district award in the area of health and fitness and activity.
Congrats.
And Yeah, the guys are a big part of the community. You know, we just had volunteer week was, what was it, last week or the week before? And there's so many of the guys in the fitness class that get involved in so many other things through our community center and through our senior center.
Mm-hmm.
And they're serving on boards. We have like a Meals on Wheels thing that we take meals from the senior center out to the community, to needy people in the community,
Wow.
and Feed the Need, it's called. And these guys, I mean, they drive the
Very
buses
involved.
for the thing, and they get involved in package, and they work in the cafeteria assembling meals, and they work on the board of the senior center, that sort of thing.
Wow.
They just, and different community events, they're always involved one way or another. There'll always be 4 or 5 of them involved in almost everything that's going on. So it has pushed a lot of the guys into the community itself, where they joined as individuals and didn't have a lot of friends. Now they have a whole bunch of friends,
I love that.
and they're getting involved in
Mhm.
all sorts of community activities. So it's really
Oh,
good.
that's so, yeah, so amazing. How could somebody that wants to join you, how can they join?
The program is a program through the West Vancouver Seniors Activity Center. You got to be in decent shape. One of the things that is a real issue for us is the survival of the program, and getting younger people in, and so that you have that turnover, because we lose probably 10 every year, and so we've got to attract younger guys. Like, I'm trying to recruit younger fitness instructors,
Mm-hmm.
because one of my guys is 89 years old that runs our Monday class.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, his
Unbelievable.
his
Wow.
Wow.
career was with the YMCA, so he has always been incredibly fit, but he's still running our 1 hour Monday class and doing a good job. And we tell the guys that, you know, even though he might be slowing down in the way that he teaches the class, you get out of it what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
you know, you can duplicate what he's doing, and you can work a lot harder at doing those exercises, whether it's twisting or doing jumping jacks or whatever it happens to be. So you get out of it what you put into it. And most of the guys recognize that, and they do work hard in the class.
So when you say you're trying to direct younger or attract younger instructors, what age are you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean
60s, 60s,
60s? Okay.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the class is full right now. We can't handle any more people. The gym's not
Oh,
doing
really?
it.
Okay.
Wow.
So we
Well,
have some
that's
really,
a good problem to have. Yeah.
well, it is.
Right.
And we have a bit of a wait list for guys that are wanting to join and so on. But I just tell them that if they can't do sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks, that sort of thing, there are
Okay.
other classes that may be more suitable for them.
Mm-hmm.
We want the new guys that are joining, we want them to be active, and we want them to be, you know, hopefully
Fit.
they'll get involved enough that they can take over when I'm ready to
Right.
pack.
No, that
Right.
makes
Right.
sense. And how long are these sessions? Yeah.
1 hour.
Oh, okay, an hour session, and then
Yeah,
everyone gets
do an
together
hour.
for coffee.
Yeah, we do a warm up, we do aerobics, coordination, balance, that sort of thing, and do that for 20-25 minutes. Take a quick break for some water, and then we do dumbbells for maybe 15 minutes. And then we get down on the mats and we do some more dumbbell work, lying on your back and lying on your stomach. Get rid of the dumbbells, and then we do work on core strength and stretching and that sort of thing. So it takes a full hour with a 5-minute break in the middle, and you get a good workout out of it. At least
Mm-hmm.
I do anyway.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
One of the questions I know we were curious about was, when we're doing all of this, do you have like a favorite exercise or sport that you do, and yeah, like how often do you do them a week?
Well, I enjoy all of it. My wife and I play golf. I play golf with the guys during the week. I'll play twice a week now. I used to play a little bit more with the boys, different group of guys. And then I play with my wife on Sundays. We play with other couples. She plays with the girls during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say I have a favorite exercise. We go down to California for a break for in the fall and again in the spring, and we go primarily to play golf and the better weather down there and the different golf courses and so on. But swimming always a favorite exercise, and so I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I just enjoy
You
all
do
of
it all.
it. Yeah.
You're doing it all.
Just
That's amazing.
keep moving. That's the main thing.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. What about diet? Do you think about, are you strict with what you eat, or do you have a certain
No,
diet you follow?
I wouldn't say so. My mother had a saying that was everything in moderation.
Hmm.
So my wife is a really good cook, and she's very nutrition conscious. So I don't get weird foods or anything like that. But I get good, healthy meals. I
Mm-hmm.
eat
Hmm.
too much of them, of course, but
Well, you're working out every day too,
yeah,
so
Right.
well, that's just it. I have a
yeah.
good excuse. But no, we're aware. I think that we eat healthy, and a hamburger and fries is fine, but you don't do it every day. You do it maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Hmm.
So I don't shy away from saying there's some foods I don't like that I should be eating more of, but I have a salad every day along with the main course, whatever it happens to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I love the stews that she makes and the soups and just healthy stuff. Yeah.
Now I'm getting hungry.
All right.
Sounds so good. Yeah,
Well,
It's
homemade
we're,
food
regular
is,
dinner time
I always
here.
say, yeah, I always say it's like if you want eating healthy, the best way to eat healthy is to make food yourself at home,
Absolutely. I
right?
and
agree.
It's
don't give me any tofu or kale or anything like that. Just I'm a lettuce
funny.
and peas and carrots kind of guy.
Hmm.
Just the main stuff.
Yeah.
No.
But
Well, you're very healthy, obviously, so that's great. So good for you.
Now, I'm curious to know what has been or what are some of your most memorable moments with with the Fit Fellas?
wow, we've had we've had a lot of funny things over the years, but I think seriously, I think that the 101st birthday of Gord Cowley, our oldest guy, was so special to see him still coming 3 days a week. He lives now in a seniors home, which is adjacent to the West Van Seniors Activity Center. And he comes over for coffee. He's two short blocks from the seawall in West Vancouver. He's down there, like I say, every day with his buddy John, and they walk on the seawall. They go for coffee. They know just about everybody on the seawall, and they yell at each other because they're both deaf. And they it just we had for his 100th birthday, we had a big celebration, and we had the Queen was there, well dressed up like the Queen, and we did a lot of stuff. We knighted him and did
Oh,
all
that's so cool. Yeah.
military. We have some guys that used to be in the military and this sort of thing, so they still had their uniforms. So
Mhm.
we put on a real show for them. But that was a special time, and I think the other ones, the fact that we've been recognized by the Lionsgate Hospital Foundation for the over $1 million that the guys have contributed in the last 10 years to
Wow.
the hospital,
Wow.
and the fact that they're
Wow.
going to name a room after us in the new Paul Myers Tower that's going to be open in beginning of the year, actually. And I guess being chosen by the University of British Columbia and the University, Simon Fraser University, for these different studies that they do on gerontology and
Oh,
aging and so
wow.
on, more from Simon Fraser, and UBC, it's more the fitness, the kinesiology end of it, that sort of thing, and using us as examples. during COVID, we, three of our male instructors were recruited to run fitness classes along with four older women that are instructors at the community center. And every morning at 9 o'clock, we ran a fitness class, and people participated from all across Canada in this program. And it's nice to be recognized for what we're doing by people outside, over and above the guys that are in the class, that realize how valuable the program is to them. So I don't know, other highlights, I don't know, guys getting lost on field trips and
Yeah, I was
falling,
gonna ask, do
falling
you ever
down and
do you ever
falling
go
down
like
on the
on trips
trail out
together?
hiking or something. And so they're not really highlights, but we laugh about them later. But
Do you have
yeah,
any plans for like field trips for the future, or do you do that often?
well, like I said earlier, our biggest plan is survival, is turnover and recruiting
Yeah.
younger people, that sort of thing.
I don't think
We
you're gonna have a problem with that.
It
This
doesn't
sounds
sound
so
like it,
fun.
I hope
right?
not. I hope not. People come by and look at the class when the class is in session, and there'll be 70 guys out on the gym floor, and we all have the same color shirts. I started every day is a different color shirt. So Monday's black, Tuesday's white, Wednesday's yellow, Thursday's blue, Friday's red. So if you go by the big gymnasium, basketball, it's a full-size gymnasium, and there'd be 70 guys in there, all in the same color shirts. It's quite impressive.
It
And
is pretty impressive.
the only problem is that the guys who don't do a lot sort of hang around the door, and they make excuses. They have to go out and go to the washroom or something, then they come back. So you'll get somebody walking by, and they'll look in and they'll see the guys that are closest to the door, and they'll say, "Hey, I can do that." I mean, look at that guy, he's hardly moving. They don't realize the guy's been coming for 20 years, and that's
Right.
why he's not moving real fast anymore. But so it sometimes is a little hard recruiting younger guys. They say, "Well, it's a senior center program. I don't want to be a part of the
Right.
seniors."
Mm,
But man, this senior center has got to be the most active place in Canada. I mean, there's everything from golf trips and hiking trips, and there's 3, 4
wow.
different cycling groups, all different levels. And I thought when I first went over there, I was going to see people sitting in the corner drooling. And I mean, I'd get run over by people going out, get on the bus to go up the mountain for a hike and this kind of thing. They go skiing in the wintertime, and it's unbelievable. And it is very inspiring to anybody who thinks they're getting old or something. Go over there and be with people who are the same age as you, and see how active they are, and see what they're doing, and see how much fun they're having. And like we say, being fit should be fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't ever recall anybody when I was younger saying, if you stay active and keep moving, you're going to live longer. But you go through phases in your life, from being young, and then you see your grandparents pass away,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get older, and then you see your mother and father, and you see what they're going through and what they went through before they passed away. And all of a sudden you start realizing that, gee, maybe if they had been more active, they would have
Mm-hmm.
lived longer.
Wow.
Maybe if they had eaten better, they would have lived longer. I mean, I grew up with a mother and father that both smoked. Everybody smoked. I
Hmm.
used to roll cigarettes for them on their little cigarette machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did too for a year or two, until I was lifeguarding and I had to go in after people, and I had a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. Well, you know what that looks like when you come out of the water. So that cured me of smoking pretty quick. But again, I was involved in sports and that sort of thing. So you didn't smoke. The guys didn't smoke that I hung around with.
Hmm.
So and then you get to our age and you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I got to keep moving. Standing still is not an option. We got to keep active and keep ourselves involved. So here we are.
That's so great. And I think there's a lot of people your age that they don't have the friendship, right? And the community that you have built around you. And that is also contributes to
So important.
just,
So
right.
important. Yeah, for sure.
Keeps
No,
you
stress that
keeps you
so hard.
young. I mean, keeps you feeling young, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Keeps the
important.
spirit alive. I love it.
Yeah. It's really
Yeah.
important. So if you can, and combining those two things together, it's like, that sounds amazing, right? Like I wish that those programs were everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Absolutely.
Tell my
social
parents get
part,
involved for sure.
social part's just as important as the fitness part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, it's such a big topic right now, right? With like longevity studies and
Right.
the blue zones on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and
That's right.
Peter Attia's, books and everything. So it's just everyone is talking about how, what is it? Not your lifespan, but your, they call it health span, or just like living, how to stay healthy for as long as you possibly can, and your quality of life doesn't go down, right? You just want to keep it like you have it right now, like you're really enjoying your life, right? So I love this
Yeah.
message.
Yeah. It's, the people are so different these days. Like our country has changed so much with the different cultures and stuff now that are part of our communities. And I don't know, we don't have a lot of other cultures in this fitness program.
Hmm.
It's all people who grew up here, were raised here, born here, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the community, I know our community has changed a lot. And I think that we need to do more to encourage those other people. I know that the community center is just that. The whole community is there. The fitness center and the gymnasium in the community center has a lot of different cultures there now, whereas it used to not be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other fitness classes and that sort of thing are starting to become more popular with different groups of people that come in and use the center. So it's changing, and I think that we still have to encourage people to keep active. How we do that, I'm not too sure. If we can be an example for other people with the fit
Mm-hmm.
fellows, I think that's a good thing. And I don't know. It's when I look back, what was it, 30 years ago, we had Participation had that little slogan about the average 30-year-old Canadian's in the same shape as the 60-year-old Swede or something, which wasn't factual, but it made a lot of people take a look at themselves. And it was
Hmm.
such a simple thing. And it was on TV and it was on the radio, and Participation did all sorts of stuff within the communities and stuff. They donated money. And I think that made people take a look at themselves and, and maybe become more active and more involved,
Right.
that sort of thing. So I don't know what you would do these days. How do you motivate people? They have to want
Right.
to be more active.
Well, I think what you're doing and what the community center that you're a part of is doing is a great way to motivate people. I mean, I think that example that you're setting. I mean, I just want to take it and like bring it to all these different cities across Canada, right? Look what
Let's
they're doing.
expand
Look
it.
what they're doing. Showcase it. And I'm sure there would be communities that want to just do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's motivating. It's motivating to go out and have friends and go have coffee with people and exercise. It's like even just going out for coffee gets you out of the house, right? And
Absolutely.
then you have that added bonus. So
We have
I think,
cinnamon
yeah.
buns. We have cinnamon buns. On your birthday, you have to buy
That'll get
cinnamon.
me out of the house.
Right.
So we have, like, tomorrow we have 3 birthdays. So
Oh, wow.
the guys after the class, everybody goes for coffee and cinnamon buns. and they make the greatest cinnamon buns in the senior center cafeteria. They cut them in half for us, and we say that they're heart smart, sugar free. Yeah, they're good, healthy cinnamon buns for you. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Uh,
sugar-free cinnamon
and we
buns.
sing happy birthday to these guys. There's all sorts of insults and whatnot go back and forth.
I'm
And
sure.
but again,
That's so fun.
that's where the fun factor comes in.
Of course.
And you know, when I look at a cross section, I remember one day we were on a field trip at Bowen Island, and the guys they're throwing buns, and we've been on a long hike and everything. We're back for fish and chips and beer, and there were two younger women sitting at a table, and I thought, you know, we're annoying the blazes out of these two women. So I went over and started talking to them, and I said to them, when you look over at that group of men, what do you see? Like, do you see a bunch of old men going through their second childhood? Or do you see anything beyond that? And they said, well, what do you mean? So I said, well, when I look, I see 3 engineers. I see 2 doctors. I see 2 dentists. I see a guy that owned a big plumbing company. I saw, I see lawyers. I see accountants. I see guys from all different backgrounds that are sitting there that are finished their careers and have earned the right to go out and have a little fun and not have to worry about going to work the next day or anything else. So they're enjoying the years that they have left. And that is so important. And I said, you know, if we're annoying you, I'm sorry, but we've earned the right to have fun. And so they started laughing. And the next thing you know, they're talking to the guys, and it turned out that, you know, one of them knew one of the guys next door neighbor or something like that. So we laugh about it. We tease the daylights out of each other. And
Fun.
that's what it's all about. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I love that. It's all about, again, finding community, finding comfort with one another. It's just genuine connections, and
Yeah.
love the camaraderie. I mean, it seems like that's the word that keeps coming back up. It's camaraderie, right? Working out should be fun. Exercise, activity together should be fun. So it sounds like it's just a wholesome time. So last thing that Dana and I always think about, and we always like to ask our guests, is if you could change one thing about health and fitness in Canada, what would it be?
Wow. That's a tough question. We always used to say that health and fitness begins at home, or you learn about it in schools when you're young. And yet, like I said earlier, we have so many different cultures now.
Mm-hmm.
We have kids going to school in the morning that haven't had anything to eat, haven't had breakfast. And you read stories in the newspaper all the time about different groups supporting schools and helping feed the kids, this kind of thing. And do you think at their home they're going to talk about health and fitness and eating properly and everything? There's a lot of people out there that are trying to survive. And again, I alluded to the one thing that Participation came up with, that comparing the 30-year-old Canadian to the 60-year-old Swede. And something like that did make people that listen to it take a second look at themselves and so on. I don't know if what one thing would I change? I guess just if we can still carry on the things that you folks are doing, that promoting health and fitness in various ways throughout the different communities. I think we have to keep that kind of thing up, despite protests and all the other things that are happening on our streets and at our universities and so on. I don't know. It's a tough question. And
Well, I think you have right. Your answer is really is great. It's just we need to keep promoting healthy
yeah,
lifestyles,
we
even with everything
don't
that's going on.
just because of all these other factors, we can't afford to sit back and say, well,
Just stop it.
we can't do this anymore. We have to keep
Absolutely.
doing it, whether it's through your organization or through a YMCA or through a community center or whatever.
All of the above, all together, right? Collective
Right.
effort.
Yeah. So
No,
little things like National Health and Fitness Day,
Hmm.
making more people aware of that kind of thing. I know that one time John Weston had us down at Ambleside Park, and we did a fitness class in the park for National Health and Fitness Day.
Oh,
And
wow.
when he was first getting it off the ground, and
Mhm.
I mean, we had people spectators that the next thing you know, they're up there exercising with us in the class, and we had speakers and had some music going and that sort of thing. And I was running this class. Well, probably the size of the class doubled just by people who were in the park and said, hey, well, we can do that. These exercises are simple and they're moving and twisting and moving around. And it ended up being a lot of fun for everybody. And they had a run or something associated with it. Well, not everybody's going to run, but people will walk and people will do simple exercises and that sort of thing. So as long as we keep promoting the fitness and health part of it in our various respective communities, I think that we're going to keep attracting people, and we just can't quit. We just got to keep going with it.
Love that. Keep on keeping on. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Barry, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a pleasure to have you on and just to get to chat with you.
Oh, it
And
was
thanks
fun.
again for sharing your story.
That's
All
great.
right.
That was so fun.
Appreciate the opportunity. And I know the guys in the class, I told them what I was doing today with you folks. So they'll be interested in hearing how much BS I've put out there. So,
No,
I'll hear about it. I'll hear about it, no doubt.
no, you put Fit Fella on the map even more. So,
Keep
okay,
up the
great.
good work. Keep up the
Oh,
good work.
thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
it's
you.
important.
No, we definitely will. And also to all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Of course, again, we're Dana and Luigi. And if you ever want to learn more about Fit Fellas or just casually want to chat with Barry, please feel free to reach out to him via email at chappy@telus.net. That is CHAPPY at
That's right.
TELUS.net.
Yeah.
And make sure to follow us on our Instagram at Let's Move Canada for latest updates, and head over to our website at chfi.fit to learn more about our mission. And of course, don't hesitate to DM us if you're interested in learning more about any of our guest speakers or want to suggest other guest speakers. And stay tuned for the next episode announcements. And again, thank you and have a good one.
Thanks, guys.